guys, Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters. So in this tutorial I'm starting off my layout by doing a little bit of mixed media in the background, and I'm using the packaging technique. So I've got my mist here that's called a Memories Mist, and it is the colour that is Plum Sake, and as you can see it is a gorgeous little plum purple colour, and I am just spraying that onto some packaging and then adding a little bit of water just to thin it out a tiny bit, and then smushing it onto the paper. I then am getting some blush or some rose in the Heidi Shine colour, and I am doing the same thing with that, and then again with the teal and smushing that on as well, and just layering those colours across the page because I really want to fill in any white space that might be showing through with the cut file that you will soon see very shortly. So I'm splashing, to finish it off, I'm splashing on a little bit of gold Heidi Shine. Now once that had dried and I saw how it looked, I decided it was a little bit too dark, a little bit too bright for what I wanted. So I then went ahead and roughly covered some texture paste in white across the top of it, just to help sort of dim those colours down, and that's what you can see now when you look at the page. I did splash gold Heidi Shine on top again, fresh, just to help make sure that those colours aren't too smudged. So now I am sticking on my cut file. So this cut file I got from the Paper Issues website, and it is one of their free cut files. And I only used part of the entire cut file. I used the rainbow and the different sized clouds. And I decided to back the rainbow and the clouds with some patterned paper. Now I didn't make each of the rainbow arches in a different colour. I used one piece of pattern paper to cover all of the arches because it was going to be a little bit too fiddly to do a different arch for each colour. And the pattern papers I am using are the Cocoa Vanilla Bohemian Dreams collection, and it is just gorgeous. So because it was quite a fiddly process, I ended up using quite a bit of glue on the rainbow, and it sort of warped the rainbow a little bit. So I'm just making sure that I've really covered it in double-sided tape so that I know that it's going to stick down completely and be completely flat. But you can see there the colour or the pattern paper I decided to use for the rainbow, and just how gorgeous that it looks, and just really pressing it down to make sure it is stuck. You can also see as well why I didn't mind so much mixed media in the background, because if that's the size of the rainbow and then I've got a few clouds as well, there isn't going to be a lot of white space left in this layout. I am, with the first cloud that I'm sticking down, I am choosing to actually pop it up on some foam dots just to give it a little bit of dimension. I didn't want everything stuck completely flat to the page. I wanted a little bit of lift to certain aspects just to help catch your eye. So this first cloud has been stuck with foam dots, as I said. There's my gorgeous little photo, and that's of my little man waving hello to a little girl we were babysitting. He just loves babies, and she's about 5 or 6 months now, and yeah, just beautiful. This next cloud I am sticking flat. You can see from the backing colours as well, it was so hard to cut into this pattern paper. All of the papers are just gorgeous in this collection, and I highly recommend, if you haven't got it already, trying to find it. It is a little bit old now. It would be at least 3 months old, but if you miss the boat on this one, see if you can dig up any bits and pieces because it's just gorgeous. So yeah, just popping down a few of the different clouds. As I said, I've got 4 clouds. No, I must have 6 clouds. Oh goodness, even more than I thought, that I want to put down. And I've got a vague idea how I want them to go, but as I said, I do want some popped up and some not, and I do want to overlap them. And I just wanted to make sure that they were mostly overlapping along that straight edge, because it was just a little bit more pleasing to the eye than to have the cloud formation part overlapping with each other. It just got a little bit messy if I did it that way. So just double-sided tape for the clouds or foam dots for the clouds. For those of you that watch my videos, you know I'm a bit stingy, so I like to cut everything up and spread it as thin as I can. It seems to work well for me so far. I haven't had anything fall apart or fall off or anything like that, thank goodness. If you are also staying tuned to our channel, the next video that comes up from me after this one will show you how I used the leftover parts of this cut file. So you can see I've only sort of used the outside part of this cut file, the white lines of the cut file. So all of the inside of the cloud and the actual arches of the rainbow were, for all intents and purposes, rubbish, but of course nothing is rubbish. So I actually use them in the very next layout that you will see recorded for our channel. Sorry, I just lost my mind for a minute. I was thinking of something else. So stay tuned for that one so you can see how I scrap with the inside section of this cut file. I don't actually have a silhouette or a circuit or a cricket, whatever it's called, or a brother scan and cut or anything like that. But the reason I was able to do this is I have taken a lend of a silhouette cameo from a girlfriend, and while I had it, I tried to cut as many cut files as I possibly could. So I actually did this cut file way back in December and have held on to it because I have now since given back the silhouette cameo, and I just wanted to try and cut out a whole bunch of cute things, and only 3 things because I didn't know what I was using them for. So I didn't want to pay money for anything because I didn't have a specific project in mind. So this is the October Kitaholics kit that I am using. Yes, I know that it is February. That's pretty much how I roll. I am always months behind with my kits, and I always have lots. I only get the main kit, but I always have lots, so it can last me for quite a long time. So just popping down my heading with these stickers that came with the set, and I'm just using the heading "Hello Little One." I do get myself all confused writing backwards. One would think I know how to spell by now, but I don't know where my head was at writing backwards. So as you watch this, don't judge the amount of times I pull these stickers off and on and off and on. These particular stickers are the sort of plastic ones, so they peel off and on far easier than the foam ones, thank goodness, because I did not stick them down very well the first time. I also didn't measure, which is very unusual for me. I just took the gamble that my heading would fit, which it does. And it spaces out quite nicely, so I was very happy with that actually. So already I'm really liking the way that this layout is looking. I knew that I would be covering up quite a lot of the packaging technique I'd put in the background, but that it almost looks a little bit like a sunset or stormy sky after a rainbow or something like that. I just knew it needed something, not to have stark white behind it by leaving it plain. So I was really happy with that. And obviously there's so many white elements in here that it sort of softens it down, which is gorgeous. So after I stick on my heading, I then want to think about how I want to soften up the photo. I really like to back the photos and do something with the photos. I've already backed it with just a simple white cardstock, but we actually got some really beautiful tulle as part of the kit this month. So I wasn't 100% sure how to use it, so I just thought I would use it similarly to how you might use tissue paper and sort of bunch it up a little bit and put it behind the photo. So I went ahead and used the whole lot of the pink. Don't know if that was a good idea or not. I might regret it because I want it again, not because it looks bad. It looks awesome. Like, maybe I want this tulle again, but oh well, I've gone ahead and used it all. I could have used a tiny attacher here to staple the crumple bits together, but I ended up just grabbing a bit of sticky tape, and because I've sort of bunched it a little bit, I wanted it to hold its shape. And so I just put some sticky tape right down in the center where I know you won't be able to see it. And then I'm double-sided taping again in the center where it's not going to stick out a little bit, it to my paper. And usually I would then use foam dots to stick up my photo because I like my photo to have a little bit of dimension and for it to stand up and pop out. But because this is tulle, it actually does pop out a little bit. So I cheated, by the way. I'm just going to side note while you can see this. I said that I backed my photo with white. I actually didn't. I backed my photo with the back side of this pink pattern paper. Some pattern paper has white on the back, and this was in my scrap box. And the pink is beautiful, but I thought, why not just use it? Come on, you'll never empty the amount of scraps that are in your scrap box. Here's some white. Back your paper, like back your photo, do it, go. So I cheated a little bit because you can't tell from the front that it's pink on the back, which I thought was very clever. Anyway, back to my photo. I just stuck the photo with double-sided tape because the tulle doesn't sit perfectly flat with the page. So it actually is popping out and sticking up because of the bounce that the tulle has, which is perfect. So I'm now just having a look at how I want to embellish this, and I've started off just opening up the exclusive cut apart sheet that comes with the Kidaholics kits with the Kidaholics kit. That sounds funny. Just to decide how I want to embellish it. It's looking pretty good, but it definitely needs something. I'm not quite happy just to leave it exactly like this, but I also don't want to overdo it and, ruin it a little bit. So I'm just having a look at the little bits and pieces that are in here and what will enhance the layout and not be too distracting. So I think I really like that hello, so I think I want to stick a little bit with this circle theme and see what I can get going with a few little sort of these, again, from the exclusive cut apart sheet circles. And then I found the butterflies and they were so adorable, so they had to go on. They had nothing to do with anything except that they were beautiful, so they definitely had to be included. And then the love hearts, and I totally went out the window with my idea of circles. I just started putting down things that were gorgeous. Does anyone else scrap like that you see things that you love and just have to use as opposed to what necessarily fits this theme? I'm not sure what a butterfly has to do with living in the clouds, but nature, it works. It's just gorgeous, so I had to have it. So when I stuck on the butterflies, I actually used a little bit of PVA glue, and I put the glue sort of more down the center so the wings could still sort of stick up a little bit and flap out a little bit. And sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit lazy, I just find glue is quicker and easier for sticking on little bits and pieces. So I ended up sticking all of those embellishments down with glue and just ran with it. It was so much quicker than my fiddly cutting up of the double-sided tape, which was nice. So quick to get that done, unlike me usually. So now just finishing off with some enamel dots that are again from the same collection, so the colours match perfectly, which is lovely. I'm just hiding those around near the cluster of embellishments already. I just love enamel dots, so I chucked on a few of those, tried not to do too many, and we are finished. So here are some close-ups of the beautiful colours and the beautiful textures. There's so much going on in this layout with the mixed media and the tulle and the cut file, but I just love the way it turned out, and part of that is because of the gorgeous colours in this collection. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. Thanks, guys.